And welcome back to Pokemon Team Videos. Today's Pokemon Team video comes to us from Eric, who was asked the question, and he asked basically this of all the main crew, but we're now on to number 2 of the KND, Kids Next Door. What is his Pokemon team? We will get through the main roster eventually. Don't worry about that. But for right now, we did number 1 a few weeks back. I want to say it was more than a few weeks back. It's probably a couple months back now. But now we're on number 2. Number 2 is the tech genius of the group. He's very quirky. He's kind of the comic relief. At the same time, though, he's as badass in his own right. He's an ace pilot, considers himself master of the skies. He is the tech guy to the point where we're in that one episode where we got kidnapped. Number 1 was fearful that if they got their hands on him, or was threatened to get kidnapped, they'd be able to build anything with number 2. He's also got a couple other little clicks and quirks about him that we'll get into in his description. So let's get the main part of him out of the way right now, because there's 3 Mon on this list that really fit into the main aspect of number 2. And that is the fact that he is the tech expert. He's the inventor, if you will. He is the Q to the Bond, sort of. Except he's actually in the field, too. He's not the most skilled hand-to-hand fighter, though. Like, in terms of, like, combat, that is, like, number 4's specialty. And number 1 is the leader and probably the most well-rounded of them. But in terms of specialty, that's where number 4, really shines. So there are no fighting types on this team. But there are plenty of steel-type, tech-type Pokemon. One of the big ones I liked was Magnezone. Magnets! How do they work? The kids next door have used magnets in many different inventions, including number 2. And the idea of this little cool UFO that he could kind of fly around on makes sense. I liked it. There's been little zappies before. Excuse me. Ooh, I had breakfast not too long ago. There have been a little zappies for sure, though, in their arsenal. So it would make sense to have something like this. I liked Magnezone the most because it is the most kind of like aliens cool, and kids would be down for aliens. Not every Mon on this list, though, is fully evolved. Take, for example, Clink. Clink here is just the first stage Pokemon. He's just 2 sentient gears moving around in tandem with each other. It has made sense to me, though. You tinker, you build, you design. So it is one of those things where it makes sense that you would be able to use these guys in tandem. You help move some gears along. But it also makes sense that they're just a first stage Pokemon. Not every Mon in this guy's team is going to be a fully evolved Mon because he is just a kid. Granted, the hypocrisy I understand is there given, the actual games. But still. The last steel type, and this is the last steel type on the team, represents the fact that he is technically the smartest of the KND, at least of the 5 main operatives on the series. I just held my hand up to show off, and I realized I'm not on the screen, so there's no point in me doing that. But of the original 5 that we get introduced to, 1 through 5, he's technically the smartest. He has the most aptitude for science. So I want a steel type that was very intelligent. Now, I could have gone fully evolved on this, but I didn't want to go just single stage. So I decided to cut out the middleman, and I went Metang. This is also, I believe, the Sword and Shield sprite for it, which is why it looks different. Very nice, really, actually. It's a very nice looking image. I am playing right now, by the way, through Brilliant Diamond. I haven't gotten very far because I've been spending so much time in the freaking underground, and I just learned how to get a Spirit Tomb early on in the game. It's going to be a bitch to do, but the minute I found out how to do it, oh yeah, I'm doing that. So, yeah. Anywho, Metang, Metagross is one of my favorite legendaries, and one of my my favorite pseudo legendaries. It's an awesome Mon, man. It really is. Metang it's kind of like the awkward. It's really good representation of the awkward middle stage. Like Beldum is cute. Beldum's cute. It's like this foot with a little eye. It's very cute. Metang does look. I like Metang, but it is the awkward one of the 3. But it's also 2 Metangs with 2 enhanced brains, very high capacity for thinking. 2 Metangs, 2 Beldums together. That's the idea, at least in nature. 2 Beldums come together, fuse to become a Metang. 2 Metangs make a Metagross. 4 Beldums make a Metagross. That's basically kind of how that works. So I do like Metang because it is a highly intelligent and highly versatile Pokemon. Psychic Steel is a tough typing to go up against. But that's where I felt like the intelligence aspect of number 2 came in. However, there are 3 Pokemon on here that fit different parts of his lifestyle and, his personality. One of them is the fact that he does parade around oftentimes as a detective when he needs to, like, investigate certain mysteries. And we have a Gumshoes, if you will, a detective Pokemon. Now, it's not truly a detective, but that said, its name is like Gumshoes, like a gumshoe, private eye. So it is still very much a detective in many ways. Granted, it is also a giant predator with Donald Trump hair, but it's still, in essence, designed after a detective, and the name is even there. So there's that. Also, when he's an ace pilot, master of disguise, I needed a flying type on this team. Now, I could have gone a lot of different Mon for that team. Could have gone a lot of different Mon for that team. I could have gone Talonflame. I could have gone Zapdos. I could have gone Lugia, Master of the Sky. It's not Master of the Sky. Hell, freaking Rayquaza technically is a Master of the Skies. But I'm like, no, okay. It needs to be just a kind of a standard flying Pokemon. It needs to be a bird. Just because that's what I feel like this should be the Pokemon on his team. It needs to be something that he can also ride. And for me, I'm like, he's one of the OG KND. He's one of at least that we get introduced to. He's 1 through 5. Let's go through something OG. So I went with Pidgeot here. Good old Pidgeot, one of the tried and true Pokemon of the Kanto. Your almost always definitive go-to flyer, because he is a 3-stage. He is the final stage of a 3-stage evolution, meaning he does have better stats ultimately than say like Pharaoh does. There are other flying types in Kanto. There aren't a lot of them, mind you. But there are other flying types. But for my money, I've always gone with Pidgeot. I've always liked Pidgeot's design. It's very, and I don't mean like I love, it's like, oh, look, it's so cool. But in terms of I have a very streamlined evolution. Like Pidgey to Pidgeotto and then to Pidgeot, it just looks like it grows up. I like Pidgeot. I do. It's got a Mega. I didn't want to give him the Mega, though. I feel like that wasn't quite what I wanted to do. But thinking on it now in hindsight, the Mega could have worked. He's the tech guy. Technically, Mega Stones and the Mega Base, all that stuff, that's all tech. And battle stations, he rides on Pidgeot and then turns it into Mega Pidgeot. Look, I'll stick with the base one, but if someone were to argue the Mega, I really wouldn't be against it. Actually, now that I say it more, I kind of like that idea. So there is that. But the last one last one to go over for number 2 is this last space that he actually has a very impressive appetite. He's one of the saviors with his chili cheese dogs, or he's a little Sonic like that. He can stomach like grotesque food. I can't remember the name of the character who kidnapped the KND. But he can stomach the grotesque food of a certain character a lot more. He has a solid that you can tell too. He's a bit of a heavy kid, but he's a kid too. He'll grow out of that. And the fact that he's not very well versed in hand-to-hand combat, I think you can attribute to a little bit of his appetite. But he makes up for that with his intellect skill, with the tech and his piloting. So ultimately, I felt it was either Snorlax or Munchlax because he's a kid. I went Munchlax, and when you really look at him, hold on, let me get number 2 up here. Look at it a little bit again. When you really look at him, they look like they could kind of be like it kind of looks like he has his ears just kind of like flop down on his helmet there. So hey, I kind of like that. They kind of look alike. But anyway, Munchlax, you get down here. That for me is number 2's Pokemon team. Matang to represent his intelligence, Clink and Magnezone to represent just tech skills, Pidgeot to represent his pilotry, and pilotry is not a word, but I'm making it a word, and his masterfulness of the sky. Gumshoes to represent the detective aspect of him when he decides to go into that mode, and Munchlax to represent his incredible appetite. But that is just my opinion. What do you think number 2's Pokemon team is? But let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. And I'll see you folks later. I've got my What If to end out the week of What If and my box office to do, which did just pop up. So I am going to do that probably as the next video. Not that it matters. These are all going to be uploaded together. So anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching and see you later.